Breeders' Cup Sprint is a great one. It's the 10th race on Saturday's card. It's run at 6 furlongs for 3-year-olds and up. And we take a look at this field, and to me, it's led by Federal Judge, and it's the public morning line thinks so as well. He has been, as a 4-year-old, just seems to be getting better and better, and I think he's peaking at just the right time. Going to have some company from Straight No Chaser on the front end, and I think Don Frankie as well, the Japanese import. And then you've got some later runners that are interesting, Ben Tornado and Nakatomi, as well as potentially Raging Torrent and Gun Pilot. So it's a sprint. They'll be flying early, and we'll just see who can who can. This is more a case of not of outlasting the group with all this speed in here. So we'll take a look one by one. We'll start with Raging Torrent, and this is a pretty good horse, I'd say, but kind of you have to wonder about the class running out west. Again, hate to continue to belabor that, and he hasn't run a Del Mar, I don't believe. So I just think he probably is up against it a little bit. There's just really others I like better, and 10 to 1 I'd like a little better price than that. On the rail too, I think might be problematic for horses coming off the pace. Excuse me. Thought we had that licked. Gun Pilot number 2 is a horse that I was pretty into to start the year. I always thought cutting this horse back was the right thing to do, and it has been. He's certainly been more effective around 1 turn than he was at 2. And I liked him in the forego, but he got a second on what was a kind of a speed favoring track that day, particularly to the inside. But you look at his numbers, and what my biggest issue with is I'm not sure he's fast enough, really. I mean, he coming from off the pace would be a good place to be in this race, I think. But I just don't know that he has the top end to get it done. That's really what sours me on him. I think Steve Asmussen will have this horse ready to roll in this race. But of the off-pace runners, I like others better. I think are just faster. That's really what it comes down to. Federal Judge is a horse who, after a long layoff, has just been getting better with every start, and he's my pick to win this race. I really like what I've seen from him in the Phoenix Stakes last time. I mean, he ran a hole in the wind. It was 21 and 43, and he still had plenty in the tank left. That, to me, is a horse that is just greasy fast, and I think he can withstand any type of pace duel that may set up. And so I think Brad Cox is just his barn is 71% with stakes winners right now, and he's 26% at the Breeders' Cup. He knows how to get these races won, and I really like Federal Judge in this spot. You also have to think that perhaps, I mean, it looks potentially like there's going to be a big speed duel up there. But if you consider most of the speed is to the outside of Federal Judge, he has the inside track, and I think he's going to be able to get position. And I think that's going to help. Plus the fact, as I mentioned, those fractions he set early tells me that he can withstand any type of pressure that he's going to get. So to me, Federal Judge, the pick to win this. Nakatomi is a really nice horse. Won the Vanderbilt earlier in the year and finished second behind Federal Judge. I really loved him in the Breeders' Cup Sprint last year. He ran a fantastic race. He really did. He just ran. He was closer to the pace than he normally gets. He just wasn't as good as Elite Power or Goodnight. That's really what it came down to. He's a year older. I think he's definitely a grade 1 horse. And I think coming from off the pace, he's going to bring it late. And we'll just see if he's good enough. And he's an absolute use for me. Don Frankie is very interesting. This is apparently just a Japanese tank. He's 1,300 pounds. He's a biggin. That gives me a little bit of pause on a small track like Del Mar. He's fast. He's going to be up on it or near the lead. He's going to try to get the lead, I should say. But I do worry about a really big horse with tight turns at Del Mar. He, in the Golden Shaheen earlier in the year, he just got Tuz just blew right by him in the stretch, like he was sitting still, and so kind of hard to gauge, how fast he really is. But coming from Japan, but I think he can factor in this race. I think at 15-1, that's a uh, pretty good price for him. I just wonder, as being such a big horse with those tight turns, whether or not that's going to be a problem. But if you want to back him, I wouldn't blame you. I'm not going to use him, but I could see him maybe hanging around if they take him a little off the pace and just have him sit behind Federal Judge and some of the others. I can go either way with Don Frankie, I guess is what I'm saying. Ben Tornado is a horse I've always liked, and he's another one I think is getting better at the right time. He is a 3-year-old going against older, but one of the things that's kind of a quirk with Ben Tornado and watching him run, particularly in the Gallant Bob and the race before that, I noticed, he takes a little while to get going. And it's like they really got to jump on top of him in the stretch to get him into full stride. And you couldn't ask for a better jockey to do that than Luis Saez. Also, I think it's going to help him in this spot because the pace is very lively on the front end, which it likely will be with Straight No Chaser in the race and Federal Judge. He'll probably be able to lay off of it a little bit. And once he does get going, that could put him right in the mix. And if he can take another step forward, he could win this from off the pace. At 30-1, you get an excellent price. I think he's a better use for underneath in the exotics, but I think he's a horse you definitely want to use. Metamax is a Japanese import. I really don't know a whole lot about this horse, I'll be honest. And I've heard some pundits talk about him as being sort of one that's maybe a second stringer type of Japanese horse. And you look at his back class, he really hasn't run against grade 1 company. And just that's enough for me to just say that I'm going to let Metamax go. Straight No Chasers, we know what he wants to do, and he's going to do it. He's going to fly out of the gate, and he's going to go right to the lead and go as long as he can, as fast as he can. I have one issue or two, really, with Straight No Chaser. Number one, racing in California, he hasn't faced a whole lot. This will be the classiest field he's faced. Secondly, he's just coming off a career high figure, and while he was able to pair career highs earlier in his career, I think that coupled with the class he's going to be dealing with here are probably going to make things difficult for him. You couldn't ask for a better jockey to have on the front end than Johnny Velasquez, but he's just not going to be able to get away. And I think Federal Judge, just to me, looks like a better candidate to win this race, and I think he'll be more comfortable in a duel. I think he'll be more likely to survive. So Straight No Chaser, I'm going to let go, especially at 5-1. Don't like the price. Remake is really interesting. This is a late runner. This is a horse that I think you have to use in this spot and is a very big potential win candidate here, provided that the pace breaks down, which it very well may. He's a late runner. He's got good back class. The Golden Shaheen, he got fourth. And he's a horse that a lot of the Japanese pundits like a lot. And watching him run, I think he's got that nice turn of foot. And he was flying late in the Korea Sprint. Granted, it's Korea Sprint, but still it showed a good turn of foot. I think he'll be able to get in a good spot. And if he's good enough, I'll be flying late. But I think he's one absolutely you need to use. Mulligan is at a bit of a disadvantage out in the 10 hole. We can't make light of that. But I'm not so sure that Mulligan needs to lead. And with Flavian Pratt in the irons, I have a feeling they're going to be able to work out a trip and maybe just get behind the leaders. And then it'll be a question of if he's good enough. He was able to rate a little bit in the Forgo, as I recall. And I think he's proven to me that he is a grade 1 caliber horse. And so while the pace makes me not as high on him to be a potential win candidate, I do think he can compete in this race, but I think underneath is probably more likely given where he's going to start. Skelly, this to me is like Could not ask for a worse post for a horse who has trouble out of the gate. We've seen it in multiple races this year. Skelly just slow out of the gate, then gets rushed to the front, runs huge, but doesn't have quite enough left in the tank to win it. Well, in the 11 hole, that's an absolute death sentence for this horse. And that's really, I can't in any good conscience use this horse, given what we've seen from him this year. And at 8-1, I just can't do it. And so Skelly's a toss for me. Could he still end up second or third? Yeah, but I'm going to take the chance that there's so many good horses to his inside. I think he's really got a lot of problems. So we look at the field. I'm going to go with Federal Judge. I think he's the best horse in this race. I think he's got the best post. He's got a lot of things working in his favor, and I think he's going to get it done with Brad Cox. We're going to use Ben Tornado, Mulligan, Nakatomi, and Remake. I really like the chances of Remake if, in fact, the pace breaks down. But Ben Tornado, to me, looms as a horse that, for the value, it looms as a real long shot threat here. So for a wagering strategy, we're going to go with a value play, and we're going to bet Remake to win. Mainly for the price more than anything else. I might even change that to Ben Tornado. Federal Judge, I think, is just going to be too short to bet to win. However, you can make up your own mind about the win bet, and it'll be a game time decision whether or not who I come up with. But for now, that's what I probably would do. I consider him to be the strongest second choice behind Federal Judge. We'll do a 3-9 cold exacta. Then we're going to do a 3-4 cold exacta with Nakatomi. Then we'll key box the 3 on top with 4, 6, and 9. And then we'll do an exacta key with 3 on top with 4, 6, 9, and 10. So we have the potential to get three possible wins here. Then for the trifecta, going to keep it real simple. 3 on top with 4, 6, 9, and 10. And let the chips fall where they may. But to me, this is Federal Judge's race to lose. So that's it for the sprint. We've got one more. We're going to do the dirt mile, and that'll be up today, meaning Friday. So be on the lookout for that. And hope this analysis helps you with your own wagering strategy. And again, I wish you the best of luck as we always do. If you do like content like this, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks to all of you who have recently come on board and our existing community. You guys are great, and we love you. So that's it from here. I'll talk to you soon. And until then, be well.